I'm Richard Randall. Welcome back to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, many home buyers must compete in this market against other buyers, but you have a special program that allows buyers to become an instant cash buyer without having much cash. How does that work?
That's right, Richard. Right now, the competition for homes, especially under the average price of mid fives, can be fierce. I was actually in a bidding war last week for a very high price property, over 2 million. I was in a bidding war on that home. So, you have to hire an agent that knows how to handle that and knows how to position your buyer to get their offer accepted without them busting the budget, basically. So you need to find somebody. You don't need an agent to find a house. All the homes are offered in the MLS. They go through all the websites, realtor.com, Zillow, thousands of other websites. I don't know if you know, Richard, but what Redfin does is they pay real estate agents to open doors. Did you know that?
I'd like to, so a doorman, I'd like to be paid to be a doorman, just to open the, I love that you talk about this, Barb, because all of these big corporations, they're so out of touch with this, all the communities that they deal with, but this community itself, much less the variance from one part of town to another part of town.
Right. So think about it. A buyer says, hey, I want to see that house. You're the seller thinking that this buyer is fully prepared to make an offer when they come look at it, when in fact, they don't have a clue as to whether or not these people can buy a couch on Craigslist, because they're going to get paid $100 to go open your door that you are thinking is a pre-approved, ready to act buyer, and you've left the house and you've grabbed the kids and dogs to make it happen. It's so frustrating to me because I don't think the public really knows that kind of thing is going on, but it does. So you want somebody that if you're buying a home, you want somebody that really knows A, how to negotiate, and B, how to position you as the buyer that the seller accepts. Okay. And that's not a skill that's often taught or even used in this market. It's funny, there was an article a couple of weeks ago that came out from a millennial financial guy that the title of the article is, "What do real estate agents do anyway?" And he had this list of, okay, so they can show you the home. All right, well, the listing agent could do that. Find the home. Nope, we can find it on these big box tech company websites. Nope, can't do that. Help you get financing. Nope, you can do that on your own. Negotiate. Nope, they're just order takers, and help you get to closing. No, it's so you kind of just really eliminated the buyer's agent from the whole quotient by this article. It's really funny, really interesting to read. But at the end of the day, you need somebody that has some expertise, that knows the market, that understands what's going on in the market, and knows how to position the buyer to be the buyer that the seller picks. It's not about finding the homes. Once they go in the MLS, the cat's out of the bag and everybody can see that it's there. It's about getting your offer approved up against competition, if that makes sense.
Well, it does. And a lot of the things that person is saying, well, you can do this yourself. I'm a pretty bright guy. I mean, I high IQ, law degree, etc. I wouldn't want to delve into some of those issues without having you sitting right next to me.
Yeah, and so what most agents do is they show you homes you already have access to and hope you want to make an offer. So it's kind of crazy. But you have to think about, what do the sellers want when it's time to make an offer? Where are they coming from? Well, I talk to a lot of sellers because that's the business that I'm in. And I ask them that question: what is most important to you in the sale of the home? It's 99.9% it's price. It's the best price for their home. And then the next thing is certainty, the word certainty. They want to know for sure that everything's going to go through. But if you accept an offer as a seller, especially for a buyer that's getting financing, is it really sure at that point? They're all happy. Oh, woohoo, somebody wants to pay this much for my house. It's all good. Oh my God, now I got to worry about inspection and appraisal, and will the loan go through, and anything else going sideways. So in a competitive situation, if you really want to give the sellers what they want, you're much more, you will much more likely get your offer accepted if both parties get what they want. So what we do for our home sellers is when we get offers, we actually do our due diligence about those buyers and find out if they really are qualified. Because here's the thing, if you're a seller and you accept an offer and it goes under contract and then the contract fails, the rest of the public assumes that there's something wrong with the house because they can see it all over these websites that, oh, it went back on the market. There must be something wrong with the house. And that's almost never the case. Half the time, I've had buyers terminate contracts just because, not my buyers, but other agents' buyers, just because they changed their mind. Or, it's like, well, why wouldn't you do that before you made an offer? So we slow down that due diligence process, and we actually call the lender, we call the agent, we ask some probing questions about the buyer's ability to perform. And you wouldn't believe what we find out. I recently found out from a lender that this buyer had to sell a home to buy this property, but it wasn't in the contract. It wasn't in the lender's letter. And I asked the lender, you wrote this very long pre-approval letter that said all we need is the contract and the appraisal and we're going to closing. How come, don't you think a small fact of having a house to sell before they can get approved for the loan is important?
Boy, oh boy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And his answer to me was, oh, well, yeah, we don't put it in our letters. We just send that information to the buyer's agent and they can do whatever they do with the contracts. And of course, in this situation, the buyer's agent did not put it contingent on home selling. And the lender really had no clue. He goes, I'm sure this buyer already sold their house anyway. And I said, oh, okay, can I have the address? So I looked it up and sure enough, it just had gone on the market that day.
Jeez.
So, when people are getting a loan, there's a lot of mystery behind it. We can't see some of the detail about the financing of the buyer, but we can certainly ask questions. And that's what we do because we don't want, once they go under contract, we really don't want it to fall out. It's a bad situation if it happens. It does still sometimes, but that's not ideal. But if they're a cash buyer, you don't have to worry about anything except the inspection because they're going to send you proof that they have the money, and which is awesome. So it's very important that you hire an agent that's not only seeking homes for you, but our VIP home finder service. It doesn't rely solely on properties that are offered through the multiple listing service. We're giving them insider access to homes that may not be online. I meet with a lot of home sellers that aren't ready now, but they'll tell me, hey, if you get the right offer, let me know. I might do it. Number two, making sure your financing is ready to go. I mean, done, like you turned in your tax returns, your pay stubs. There are two kinds of quote lender letters. One of them is pre-qualification, which merely means they picked up the phone, they talked to the borrower, they pulled the borrower's credit, and they said, if what you're saying about your income and your assets is true, we're going to write you a pre-approval letter just because your credit score is good. That's it. There's no verification, no vetting. They're just throwing it out there. So if you're getting multiple offers, we want to know a little bit more than just whether or not you're pre-qualified. But if you're cash, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about an appraisal. You don't have to worry about loan approval. And sometimes the lending guidelines actually change. So things like I've had deals get delayed because initially when they applied, they were moving to a different job. And so the lender said, well, we changed our rules that say that you have to start working at the job and get your first pay stub before we can give you a loan. Well, they didn't know that going in, so they were going to close on the home before that. Or how about with VA loans? I just talked to a seller recently that bought a house, and she told me that her lender nor her agent that she was working with had any idea that for that type of loan, they had to get a special lead test on a well, and it takes 3 weeks. So they were very, very delayed with the closing, which really messes up everybody's plans. So if you want to hire an agent that knows about things like that, so that there are no surprises, because people really don't like surprises. And, we can talk about some of the things that really make a seller want to make a decision to pick a buyer. One of them is their loan pre-approved. That's really important. The next one is we vet them. And there are other appealing techniques that you can use. So post-closing possession, sellers like that. Sellers like their inspections waived. Now I see a lot of language in the offers like this. One of them I call it the lips are moving inspection waiver, which is really like, okay, we're going to waive anything except health, safety, plumbing, electrical, and structural. I'm like, okay, then why'd you put that in there? Or sometimes they'll put in things like, okay, well, we're going to waive any objection, maybe, or we'll waive any objection over a certain, like if a repair cost over $4,000 or $5,000, we're only going to ask for that. So part of what our VIP Home Finder service does, not only helps you prepare to win the bid, not only helps you get market education, not only helps you get insider access to homes off market, but we also have investors that will come in and pay cash for the home up front. That way we can present you, the ultimate buyer, as the cash buyer instead. So this investor buys it, you come in later with your loan and purchase it afterwards, but you still get the benefit of picking the home. And if you're thinking of making a move and you want to know what to do, what not to do to get ready for sale, how much your home will sell for, how much you put in your pocket, and want to discuss our cash offer program, multiple cash offer program, just give us a call at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker, the real estate voice show of your home sold guaranteed realty. Barb is the real deal. I don't like any of that. Let's do that again. You're listening to Barb Schlinker, the real estate voice of your home sold guaranteed realty. You can reach Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to receive multiple cash offers on your home in less than 24 hours. Stay tuned for that.